Super Mario Odyssey. I wanted to see how fast an absolute beginner can get with only 6 days of playing. I wanted to set a goal for myself as a brand new player to get at least a sub 1 hour and 30 minutes. Between learning the new mechanics and dealing with Cappy, this was a whole new experience for me. Since I had never played this game before, I wanted to get to know the story. Day 1 was set on playing throughout the story without skipping cutscenes or looking at guides. It was a bit rough trying to get the movements down, knowing where any of the moons were, or getting stuck in the boss fights, but it was a beautiful game, and I couldn't wait to get to know it. Our first run through was finished in 3 hours and 59 minutes and 50 seconds. Now that we had finished the story, it was time to practice speedrunning it. Day 2 starts off with Cap, Cascade, Sand, and Lake Kingdoms. Day 3 was Wooded, Cloud, and Lost Kingdom. Day 4 was Metro, Snow, and Seaside Kingdom. And lastly, Day 5 finished with Luncheon, Ruined, Bowser's, and Moon Kingdom. Day 6 was going to be filled with doing full runs and seeing if we can achieve the goal. I would like to thank Smallant, Tomshi, and Tyrant18 for their beginner guides. They were a tremendous help, and I would recommend to anyone who wants to get into speedrunning Super Mario Odyssey. Links in the description below. Day 2. Day 2 started with Cap Kingdom, Cascade Kingdom, Sand Kingdom, and Lake Kingdom. We also practiced basic movements and getting used to Cappy. It was a bit of a rough start, but we slowly started to make progress on the movement, sometimes. The goal for Day 2 was to beat Topper, learn Dino Skip in Cascade Kingdom, attempt Jaxi Skip in Sand Kingdom many times, and learn the fast strats to fighting Rango in the Lake Kingdom. Things did not always go as expected, but we were able to improve our movements and make some progress with these first 4 kingdoms. Now, it was on to Day 3. Day 3 had Wooded Kingdom, Cloud Kingdom, and Lost Kingdom. Wooded Kingdom was one of those kingdoms I was dreading since it was such a big area and there was a lot to learn from this kingdom with the Pipes area and attempting to learn Flower Skip. We were not very successful with these areas, but the spirit fight went well. And then we made our way over to Cloud Kingdom. For Cloud Kingdom, we wanted to attempt Fast Hats. There is a strat where you can grab Bowser's hat as soon as he is about to hit it away to instantly hit him where it hurts.
Oh, that's so good.
Unfortunately, we were unable to get this strat today and would try on one of the future days. Lost Kingdom was all about learning Meme Tree. This allows you to skip the Klepto trigger where Klepto steals Cappy and Mario has to spend extra time to get Cappy back. We had many attempts on doing this skip and finally made it to the secondary platform.
I guess that
Just to fall off on the other side.
until we do.
Anyways, after successfully making it across, the final challenge was the moon under the bridge.
Oh.
Luckily, after the second attempt, we managed to get the moon. Now, it was time for Day 4. Day 4, we had Metro Kingdom, Snow Kingdom, and Seaside Kingdom. With Night Metro, there were a couple of areas we needed to practice, from scaling the buildings, fighting the Mecha Wiggler, and had the sad reality that I was no good with motion controls.
Well,
After 3 cycling the Mecha Wiggler, we made it over to Day Metro. With Day Metro, we learned how to use a warp strat to leave Cappy behind, grab the moon, then shake the controller so that Cappy can capture the pylon and head to the main Metro area.
Okay.
We learned the route to get the 2 bandmates back together, then it was time to leave and head to Snow Kingdom. In Snow Kingdom, we were able to improve our movement and gain confidence after attempting longer jumps. In Seaside Kingdom, we learned the first clip of the game, Fish Clip. Using this fish, we were able to clip out of bounds in order to get a moon and slipped into the Sphinx's room for the last 2 moons of this kingdom. And with these kingdoms finished, it was time to move on to Day 5. Day 5 was the last day of learning the route, finishing off with Luncheon Kingdom, Ruin Kingdom, Bowser's Kingdom, and Moon Kingdom. Luncheon Kingdom had a pretty rough start with getting the moon at the salt pile. It took us many attempts, but we did manage to finally get on top. There was another spirit fight that wasn't too bad, but in this kingdom, there were small areas on these crystals that Mario can jump off of. We learned to control blobs, made a soup, fling some forks, and be swept away as a piece of meat. But that was all for Luncheon Kingdom. Now to go fight the dragon in Ruin Kingdom. Ruin Kingdom wasn't much of an issue. We fight a dragon, get the spikes off his face, and then ground pound his head in. Easy peasy. On to Bowser's Kingdom. In Bowser's Kingdom, we learned how to do the bird cap warp, getting the shards, and the enhanced Harriet and Topper fights. Once we finished these fights, it was finally time to fight the mech. Now, we didn't try to do birdless because it was too difficult, but we did go for a strat that allowed us to stay on top of the mech for the entire fight, using a couple of cap throws and dives to stay on top of the mech. With the mech fight finished, it was time to go to our final kingdom, Moon Kingdom. The main practice for this stage was to do moon skip, which allows us to skip almost the entire map and head into the church. All we had to do was jump off the Sphinx's head, hit a couple of key spots, and wall jump our way up. It took a couple attempts, but we slowly managed to get consistent and get moon skip. Now, it was time to crash the wedding and do the final Bowser fight. The fight works the same as before. Steal Bowser's hat, hit him where it hurts, dodge some of his fire, and then we're done.
Oh, there was the last one.
Until we have to escape the moon.
Oh.
We capture Bowser and make it to the end for the final stage. Now that our training is done, it was time to do full runs for day 6. But before that, we needed to set a base time for us to compete against for the final day, so we strapped in for one full run.
Let me remember how it went. That'll work. Not get into it either. There we go. Fishy clippy. But that's why I sort of liked going into.
Using everything that we had learned, we were able to get a base time of 1 hour, 43 minutes, and 45 seconds. Not too bad for a first time run, but still a stretch from the 1 hour and 30 minute goal. Now, it was on to the final day 6. This was the final day. After everything we had learned in the past 5 days of training, this was going to be the day we do full runs. Things were going pretty bad at the start. We were making errors that we hadn't seen before, but we had to finally face our final run.
Very interesting. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and do another run. 3, 2, 1.
We had a pretty good start to our run, and we managed to have a decent topper fight, got Dino Skip on the first try, and was finally able to get the bird in Sand Kingdom before it flew over the town. We were making pleasant progress until things went wrong in Lake Kingdom. Up until now, I had turned my brain off for Lake Kingdom since there wasn't many intensive things to do, but we were having a rough time controlling the fish, had some wrong inputs, and even ground pounded the initial fish, so we had to get a new one. Things were looking so well in the early kingdoms, and to make some easy mistakes in Lake Kingdom, it was not looking good for me. All the time that we had saved, it was now lost from the single kingdom. But instead of resetting, we decided to push forward and move on to the further kingdoms. We had a cleaner wooded kingdom and managed to save time again, and for the first time we were able to do fast hats for Cloud Kingdom. After being able to hit fast hats in Cloud Kingdom, I was fairly confident going into Lost Kingdom. We were able to do Meme Tree on the first try and managed to get the moon under the bridge with our first attempt, saving us about 2.5 minutes from our previous run. We had an exceptional night metro and was able to 2-cycle the Mecha Wiggler, had improved movement in the kingdom overall, and saved around 6 minutes. We were able to improve our movement in Snow Kingdom, got Fish Clip in Seaside Kingdom to save around 8 minutes. We managed to get Salt Pile pretty early in the kingdom, improved on our movement, and managed to save 13 minutes going into Ruin Kingdom. Ruin Kingdom went fine, and all that was left was Bowser's Kingdom and Moon Kingdom. We had a couple deaths in Bowser's Kingdom, and had to change part of the routing to get this whole moon instead, but we were still saving time going into the mech fight. We had practiced many times before to stay on top of the mech, but we could never get a consistent run, and I was feeling pretty confident on this one. Things were looking so good until we slipped off of the mech. I wasn't going to let that deter me, so we ended up just taking the bird up and finished the fight with a 12.5 minute lead.
Alright, that wasn't as smooth of the mech fight, but needless to say, we cleared it.
All that was left was to do Moonskip and then the final Bowser fight and area. We successfully did fast hats against the final Bowser. All we had to do was escape within less than 4 minutes. We played super safe and made it into the final area.
Oh, the camera angle almost f***ed me on that.
To some runners, this may not be a good time,
we are so
but for
getting some
playing the
130,
game for the
baby.
first time and having 5 days of training, I think this was incredible. Once
Let's
again, I would
freaking
like to
go.
thank Small Ant, Tomshi, and Tyrone18 for the beginner's guide and the many chatters that gave me tips along the run. Now, it is time to set a new goal and improve my time.